down. Boosie, wipe me down.
You got this Rico Love presents Emerging Women of R&B that's about to drop. Deborah Cox, 7th Street, or K. Michelle, you got some new names on here too. What was your inspiration behind creating this particular project?
So, first of all, I want to just say thank you for having me, and thank you for asking this question, because most people want to talk about all of the things you've accomplished without kind of highlighting the future and what you're trying to work on. So I appreciate you doing your homework and looking that up. So basically, I did a call out about a year ago looking for 5, actually, of the most talented women around the world. And I found, I mean, thousands, like maybe 40, 50,000 submissions. It was ridiculous. But I found 6 girls that I was really impressed with. So I flew them all out to Miami. I recorded a song, wrote a song from scratch, produced a song from scratch, recorded them. I paid each girl $5,000 and featured them on this project. I added 7th Streeter, Devin Cox, and K. Michelle just so that we could show the emerging women with the established women, with the icons, you know, put them all together and put together a project. So it's my take on, similar to what DJ Khaled would do. It's just that I wrote and produced all the songs. So this is definitely just another album for me, but it's an opportunity to highlight new acts who don't have the attention and who don't have all the followers and don't have all the things that people deem necessary to make it in this business.
I know you have an eye for talent. You work with not only new artists when they have gone to blow up to be bigger artists. You work with veterans that already had a name, and you even released albums of your own. How do you approach a record when it's a new artist versus a vet, and even yourself?
When it's a new artist, I think the key is to wow. It's got to be a wow factor. Like it has to be something in the top line that makes people say, wow, that lyric stands out to me. So, for instance, when I did They Don't Know myself, I knew that was a controversial subject. Now it's not. Now it's so common to talk about a side piece and all that. But I knew that that was something that was going to catch people like, oh, no, nobody says that. It was a bit taboo. So when I think about new acts, I think about how can we say the most outrageous thing without being gimmicky or trendy, but how can we say the most outrageous lyric that's going to make people say, who is that girl? Who is that guy? I need to know who they are.
And you got range. I'm talking about from Mary J. Blige to the City Girls. So big quick. So as far as your own self, you know, I think most producers create a name for themselves and then they have a style. But from the range of artists that you work with, there's still no certain way to kind of pinpoint Rico Love's style from how I look at it. But if you were able to describe like your style or your flow, what words could you put to that?
I was listening to the Beatles today. Abbey Road is my favorite album. And the reason why is just, I feel like Here Comes the Sun, you know, just incredible lyric and melody. And I would like to be known for my records like There Goes My Baby and like Sweet Dreams and like, you know, songs with just incredible lyrical content, strong melodic sensibility, and things that are just timeless. So if I could describe anything I would do, I would say that it does not sit in an era. It's forever. And that's why, you know, a lot of my records still play. When you listen to Heart Attack from Trey Songz, it's like it came out yesterday. When you listen to Daddy Song by Usher, it looked like it just came out yesterday. Or Motivation, Kelly Rowland, or even Twerk by the City Girls. You could hear that in any era. So I would like to describe myself as just a writer who just writes classic songs. I mean, Pharrell told me once, he said, you write the great American songs. And he was saying it to say, you just write classic, timeless music that's going to always work.
With these recent producer and writer battles on Instagram and social media, I've studied some of my favorite writers and some of my favorite producers, and I'm going through my playlist, and I'm just like, you know, this whole time I got my Rico Love over here, and I need to revisit, right? So I revisit, and I'm just like, this man is behind a whole lot of my favorite records, and I still think you're a secret weapon in the industry. It's crazy. I know everybody gets their flowers when the world feels it's time to give their flowers, but how do you keep yourself motivated to stay in what is sometimes an unappreciative industry?
You know what, man? I just really write great. I just work on my music and focus on what I have to do. There's a lot of things that I want to accomplish that I still haven't accomplished yet. So I don't look at it as like, oh, why haven't they given me? I look at it as like, you still got work to do. So it's not I don't necessarily need to keep myself motivated because of that. I keep myself motivated for legacy and for, you know, like it's still a long journey. I'm only 37 years old. You know what I mean? We still got a lot more to go in terms of accomplishing things. I think Quincy Jones was 50-something years old when he did Off the Wall. I think he was 60 years old when he did Thriller. So you look at that and you're like, wow.
Right.
That means a lot more time for us to do great things. And he's still doing it. He's still working. So at the end of the day, I think this era, and when it's black people, we give each other this timeline. Like, oh man, well remember he used to be, or when people come to me and they say, man, what you working on? And I'm like, does it matter? And what have you done?
Right.
You know, like, it don't matter.
Right.
I'm done enough. Don't come to me asking me what I'm working on. Well, I'm working on a lot of great things. I'm doing a lot of great things. And obviously, I'm staying current. I'm still on the radio. I still got records. But it's like the mission is to continue to go and to build. And it's like, who's up now? It's cool. You could be up now. It was a time where I was on everything on the radio, and Pharrell wasn't on nothing on the radio. Timbaland wasn't on nothing on the radio. And then a year goes by, and Pharrell was on everything on the radio again. Another year goes by, and Timbaland did the whole Justin Timberlake album, and then he did the Magna Carta with Jay-Z. It was like ridiculous everywhere. So those things, you gotta understand, when you're talented, there's peaks and there's valleys. You have to understand that sometimes you go, I went 2 years without being on the radio at all. Then the first thing I had out on the radio was Twerk City Girls went #1 for like 9 weeks. Sold, 3 million singles, I think. And at the end of the day, it's going to keep going like that, you know? Now my focus is my record company. I did a situation at Epic Records. I signed an artist named Mia Ariana, who I'm super excited about. I'm putting out the Rico Love Presents project. I'm building artists. So more than anything, it's not just about writing songs. It's about writing the songs and owning them and signing the artist and owning the royalty and owning the master. If I'm writing a song, you pay me a publisher's share and a mechanical royalty. What are you making? If I made $20 million over a certain amount of time, how much have they made? The idea is to say, how much can I earn on my own as a leader, as a CEO, as an executive? And that's the new goal. That's the new frontier.
I was speaking about range earlier. I'm gonna highlight a few of these records that you've done just because I think they were like pivotal records in these artists' careers. One being the Kelly Rowland Motivation record. I almost feel this record recreated her image for the most part because, I mean, she was on top of the world when this joint dropped. So was it as exciting for you as it was for her in that time, like, to have, like, the biggest record of that year?
Absolutely. It was a blessing to be able to say that. A lot of people didn't believe in Kelly. A lot of people didn't think it could make it happen for her like that. When it did, it was like, but once again, prove that the song is bigger than anything, and that's what we have to focus on. You know, we got to focus on making the best songs we could possibly make, and it proved it. It's not about age, it's not about time, it's about can the song marry with the artist in a perfect way at the perfect time and become the biggest record, and that song was the biggest record in the world.
Real talk. Now I know, like, your first song is not one of your first songs that got placement was Usher's Throwback. You were like, 2021 at that point, right? I know you started out with him when you were young, then some records later. One of my favorites, probably if not my favorite record from Usher, is There Goes My Baby. It was real adult. It was real timely for him as well. How do you, in a sense, help Usher, no pun intended, usher an artist into a new era of their career, like from child to adult at that moment?
See, because the thing for me is that's why I focus on writing timeless records. At that time, I think Usher was, 30-something years old, right? If I'm 30-year-old Usher, all right, what do I want to say? What can I say right now that's going to make people lose their minds? What can I say lyrically that's going to connect and that's going to be honest and it's going to be true, right? So There Goes My Baby is about a person who's already in the relationship. He's not trying to chase the girl. He's not trying to get the girl. He's not trying to woo her. He's not trying to get her back. He's in there. What can he say? And it's about making sure that you pay attention to the conversation. A lot of people do these one-size-fit-all type songs, and they wonder why the song may even be a hit, but it don't connect the same way. It don't have that timeless energy. There's tons of artists, there's tons of records that Usher put out since There Goes My Baby that hit. But something about that record sticks out because it's timeless and it's consistent with who he is.
Right.
I think that's what I try to focus on is the real conversation and being a student of the game and a student of the artist.
That's what's up. And another record almost in relation to that is Trey Songz. We got to know Trey Songz as a young guy. trying to make it, right? And then he transitioned to this R&B heartthrob, and then we get his Tremaine album, and you got the joint Playboy, which is one of my favorite records. And me being a Trey Songz fan, it was almost refreshing to hear this from him. I was just like, that's a record right there. Again, another flip to an image on an artist that is perceived one way in the game. I think like you have a great way of working with these artists. So like I said, I just want to shout you out for doing records like that from so you know what I'm saying? It's real dope to see. So once again, the Emerging Women of R&B joint is dropping. Is there any plans to kind of take each of these new artists and give them some light as far as promotion? Like, are we trying to do like a showcase, a tour?
Yeah, we're going to try to work out a tour when everything, we're going to have to wait till next year, obviously, because of social distancing. But we had something in the work for the summer, but I think we're going to have to push everything back, which is fine. I'm patient. Everything happened the way it's supposed to happen. But I'm focusing on building that out. The album comes out May 8th. And also my artist, me, Ariana, I'm excited to be able to release music on her really soon. She got an EP called I'm a Good Girl, Do You Believe Me? And that's going to be coming this summer. And I'm just excited about working and showing the world what we have to offer at D1MG. And I just want to say again, I appreciate you for having me. This is important. I feel like what you're doing is important, to have real conversations and giving people an opportunity to highlight the things they're working on and things they've done. It's a blessing.
Man, I wouldn't have it any other way. I probably don't remember it. You know, I met you some years back in the studio with Monica. Then some years after that. I know it's been a while since we had seen each other, and like you still knew who I was. And for me in that moment, that was real major to me. So I just I was like, man, Rico, remember me, man. That's what's up, man. I'm a forever support you for real. If I can do anything to help people realize they sleeping on a great one, I'm gonna do that. So I appreciate you speaking with me as well. And just continue to rise, my brother.
Thank you so much.
All right, you have a good one. All right.
You too.
Sounding like I used to want it, need it, craved it. Body, feeling, aching. Absence made me crazy, couldn't take it. Looking back, still don't know how I made it. You probably think I'm happy to see you cry.
Just in case you was wondering what the future of female R&B looks like, look no further than Rico Love presents Emerging Women of R&B, available right now on all streaming platforms. You can also catch more about Rico Love and future projects right here on AfterBox TV.